How's it going, everybody? My name is Logan Kilpatrick, and for my sacred tour presentation, I'm going to be doing Eastern Orthodox Christianity. So I actually went to the St. Nicholas Orthodox Church in Saratoga. It's literally like one street down from downtown Saratoga, which is really cool. I didn't even know it was there. It's kind of nestled like in a small neighborhood. Um, yeah, and this was the my first picture, my first impression of what the church looked like, were these two pictures. And I think one of the biggest things for me, the first impressions, was just the sheer size of the building. So I don't know if the picture is doing justice to it, but it actually isn't that big of a building, which was something that surprised me a lot. Growing up, I went to a lot of Roman Catholic churches. So it was something traditionally, for at least my preconceived notion before attending the before going to the St. Nicholas Church, was that the churches were all really really big and they were huge. That's just how it was for me growing up. Is I'd never been to a church that was small. So it was really really interesting to walk into the church and see that it really wasn't all that big. I I didn't take a picture of it, but the parking lot was actually somewhere around like 5 or 10 parking spaces, which was very very interesting. So yeah, that was definitely my first impression, was how small it was. And then moving along to, this is just a couple of pictures of it. I'll allude to it later as well, but I think one of the other things was just it was very apparent that this church was for some type of, not some type of, it was for a tight knit community. And that's just one of the things that kind of stood out to me. I was like, hey, it's definitely designed for smaller groups of people. It's just like two small little benches on the outside, which I thought was really funny. This was the first picture of the inside of the church. Just a couple of chairs and some brochures. This is actually the video that I took when I first walked into the church. So this is just showing my initial steps in. I was lucky enough to come by at during tea time. So the pastor and a couple of other people who attended the church were in another building, drinking tea. So I took the time to walk through, and it was. If you've never been to an Eastern Orthodox church, it might be interesting to see all of the different, or what the inside of the church looked like. This was my first time actually. So I had been to like a traditional Roman Catholic church, like I said before. I'd never seen a church that had so many paintings on the side like this, which was one of the things that I found very interesting. And another thing is, before the clip that it's showing right now, it was showing the actual like lineup of the chairs, which is something I wrote about in my worksheet. It was interesting to see a church that didn't have like pews. I don't know if anybody has ever been to a Roman Catholic church before, but there's pews. There's like lines of the chairs, like you're at a almost like a sports stadium or something like that. So it was really interesting to see the lineup of the chairs around the outside, which would, for me, was reinforcing the idea of definitely like a tight knit community between the people, and you sit with your family, you sit next to them. So that was something that stood out to me as well. And this is just some more pictures of the chairs and the different lineup, and the way the lighting looks really awesome here. It was coming in through the sides. It was one of those things that the lighting was cool, but it was also surprising how dark the building truly was, and all there was the chandeliers. But there was also, I don't know if you could see it in these pictures. I think it was in one of the initial pictures. There was pictures later on too. They also used these like huge candle structures, which is really really cool. I didn't get to see them lit up, but the sheer size of them was awesome. This is just another one of the cool paintings that was there. The artwork was beautiful. Like I said before, it struck me how many different pieces of artwork there were depicting different people in the religious hierarchy. It was really cool. It's just there, and it was interesting because some of them are definitely depicting Jesus, and a lot of them are depict him in a different way than the conventional norm. So it was interesting to see that, to see him depict. I'd never seen that before. Like I said, my background was attending Roman Catholic churches, so I'd never seen him depicted in a different way other than the way I'd seen it in those churches. Lots of really beautiful artwork at this church. It was awesome. And you can see just glancing over the photos right now how many just different ways they're depicting Jesus and other members of the Holy Family. Those are some of the stained glass windows, which was really interesting. Um, I had never seen a stained glass window like usually replacing a regular window. I'd seen stained glass windows that were like built into the side of the church, but I'd never seen. It almost looks like they had regular windows installed, and then after the fact, they went in and made them stained glass windows, which is kind of funny. But it was really the stained glass windows are. If you've never seen stained glass windows, they're beautiful. It's definitely something to see. And this goes so this picture is actually showing some of the, so if you see in the middle and on the left hand side, there's some of the candle structures, which my guess is they are providing they're not there explicitly to provide light, but I can imagine that at nighttime when just the chandeliers are on, they're housing like at least 20 candles each, and there was one in the back when you first walk in. There was two up here, and I think there's another one as well. They definitely would be providing some type of lighting. Which for me, the candles are just something to. I was looking it up just because I wasn't as familiar. They are a element of prayer, so it's just a way for people in the Eastern Orthodox religion, Eastern Orthodox Christianity, to show their praise during prayer, which was kind of cool. Just more beautiful paintings. There was an abundance of beautiful paintings. Yeah, as you can see, lots of candle spots. I think you could. I forgot I counted them, but it's well over 20 different candles fit onto the candle holder. And those I also they are extremely heavy. Not these two ones. I didn't pick up these two ones specifically. I think these ones are a little lighter, but there was one that was closer to the front that I just touched a little bit, and it was well over 200 pounds. They're all solid brass. Very, very impressive design. So this was the one I was talking about. It's extremely heavy. It's just the front. There's usually probably some music going on during the services, which is always nice. And I think one of the big things that struck me, like I was saying before, was just the lack of lighting and the difference to what I was traditionally exposed to. I think it was really cool for me to see this specific church because it's a religion that is similar to the differences aren't great versus Roman Catholic, which is what, like I said, what I've had experience with in my past.